Hey, good morning, friends. Hello. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Good morning to you all. Hope you are finding your way this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Raylene. Good morning, Raylene. Hey, Karen. Good morning to you. Joe Long, everybody. Wow. You get the eclectic little crew here today. This is amazing. John, good morning to you. Hello. Hello, everyone. So, just by way of invitation, if you haven't checked out the 1111 logo that John has put together, it's on yesterday's feed. If actually, I don't know as I'll try to swap it over. But John, if you have it right available, if you want to pop it in the feed, we're looking for feedback, and John is a true artist and true workman. So don't be afraid to offer anything you might have to any feedback you might have. So that'd be great if you're up for it. Jane, good morning to you. John's driving trains. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so looking forward to getting into his book. So fun. Yeah. John has been for many years driving the Cog Railroad up in beautiful New Hampshire. So how cool is that? So good morning, everybody. It is the seventh day of July. We're a week into July, if you can believe it already. It is, and it is 11:11, and I am glad you are with us. I'm glad you're a part of this journey. I'm glad you're in this place with me, wherever this place might be, whatever its little digital signature brings to us in life and goodness. I wanted to. So I'm in Maine today. So I'm here. Yesterday was my mom's birthday, and I want to get up here and care for a few folks that are on my heart. So we're kind of making some rounds today, and but I want you but I wanted to bring you to this place. This is actually the backyard in my backyard here in Maine, and I bring it to you here because this is, for me, one of the more peaceful places in the world. It is this right here is a cherry tree that has long since lost. Happy birthday to my mom! Thank you, Linda. That's nice. That long since stopped bearing cherries, and just behind it is an apple tree, which still is it's great producing, and right over here is that you see just the edges of a pear tree, which actually is just prolific every year. That these fruit trees behind me that are bearing fruit year in and year out, that have been a part of this backyard since my grandmother lived here, and my great grandmother lived here. And this house that has my dad's fingerprints all over it. He remodeled so much of this. There's a stone fireplace that was his that he built. Was a big part of my childhood. Was riding around in the back of an International Harvester, finding river stones to build that fireplace. And so for me, this place, any bears? There are bears, actually. Yeah, there's been a bear running around the mid coast a bunch. One of those younglings, that sort of thing, that they kind of start wandering into places they shouldn't be. So yeah, actually, we do have bears. So no lions, no tigers, no bears, but we do have bears. Oh my. So this place is one of my more peaceful places. It's a place that I can come, where I find peace. It is a place that brings me peace, and I want to talk today a little bit about this notion of war and peace, or peace and war, which is probably a better way for us maybe to order things. We always think that that kind of peace, war and peace, peace is this thing that we find after some sort of conflict. But I'd submit to you that peace is far more present, far more often the case, far more the work of the world than the reordering of the world that God does. In Exodus 15:3, there is the one-liner, and whenever you get one-liners in Scripture, it's usually something good. You get the Jesus wept, you get those sorts of things, but this one is, God is a man of war. Jehovah is a man of war. This blatant and direct assertion that says God fights battles, God goes to war, and now much has been done with that, and I'm not going to be the guy who unpacks that whole thing theologically today, but it's something to encounter, and when we this precursor to this notion too of Jesus the Christ, who would come into the world and then fight everybody. Jesus fights. If you don't kind of see that in the Gospels, we're missing it, right? Jesus even fights his friends, not only in Judas, who betrays him, but in the disciples, who are constantly like, we want to go to Bethany. Don't go to Bethany, they'll hang you. We want to go, we want to go here. This isn't a good idea. And please, guys, don't betray me. No, we won't. No, okay, yes, we will. Even the people who are most he's tightest with, Jesus ends up fighting, because he's shooting and overcoming at a higher level than anybody else ever does. And so he fights the Romans. He fights the religious establishment of his day. He fights all the evils. He fights all the demons. He fights and fights and fights and fights. And he even lays down his life in battle. This is the most important thing we can get out of the Gospel of John. Most important thing we can get out of the Gospel of John. He lays down his life. It is not taken from me. Anybody who said, anybody who gets off on this theological stuff where they're like, they went and killed Jesus. Nobody killed Jesus. Jesus laid down his life. And even on the cross, we see Jesus dying for a reason we don't know. We don't know why Jesus really dies, other than the fact that what can be surprised is that his heart breaks. He dies of a broken heart. But nobody kills Jesus. Nobody kills the God of war. And that he comes in this declaration when in his most intimate moments, and he comes after this resurrection with what? What is the first words he says? My peace I give to you, and my peace I leave with you. That it is this awarding of the peace that has already been there the entire time. Christ's work, Jehovah's work prior to that, is the reordering of things and putting things back into right relationship, back into the way in which they were made and the way they are to be held, back into the way in which we can enter into them and the way that they're always meant to be. You see, too many people, I hear this all the time, that people, and I'm not, this is not to diminish people's trauma. Don't hear me say this, but people go through a hard thing. Their heart gets hurt. And we legitimately, I understand that we legitimately feel broken. But you are not broken. You might be bruised. You might be battered. You might take a hit here and there. But you didn't make you. And nothing in this world made you. And you cannot break you. That the places that we can return to, the places that we can be reminded of in the midst of the battles of life, the places that we can come and be restored and remember that we are beyond breaking. because the one who went for us has already reordered the world. And it's ours is to enter into that. So if we have a great grief about having lost someone, we can offer that over to God. Because for God, death is a reunion. God's a homecoming. That's not a loss. And while we can feel the separation, it doesn't mean we have to. That doesn't mean that there isn't profound goodness and profound wonder and profound beauty in the world in which we're living all the time. That in fact, the peace that surpasses all understanding, the peace of God's love for us is actually present all the time. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you to the backyard today, because this place and all the trees that I can see in the green as it brings out, and all of the living that's gone on this lawn reminds me. And I hope that you have a place that can remind you in these days that though there are certainly plenty of battles in this world, and there are certainly fights to be had, there are evils to be overcome, but that is not the world. That is not what is dominant. That is not what is the whole of the song. That's one sour note. That is one small correction. And I say that knowing the full well of the horror of the world that can actually happen in the world, the way in which it can really fall short, the way in which it can truly disappoint us, the way it can truly savage us in ways that we can't even seemingly survive. God is a God of war. Jehovah is a man of war, is to say, the battles have been fought. The things of life that you think are unhealable, unmanageable, just unable to find peace with. The peace is already there. The victory has already been won. The order has already been brought. And that the invitation is for us to find moments and to find places to enter into it. I've said this many times, but I'll say it to you again because it is truly one of my foundational beliefs around how God works with us. Is that one of my favorite theologians says, when we move one thing, God moves 1,000 things. And so my invitation to you, friends, that this day, and that in the face of a world that fights, know that the battles that you're fighting, the worries, the anxiety, the grief, the pain, the struggle, it's already been overcome. It's already been reordered. It's already been relinked to the whole. And that if we can but open to it, if we can but maybe go to these places that hearken in you that peace, that hearken in you that bit, that hearken in you, and whatever it is. Maybe it's just a warm cup of coffee. Maybe it's a smile from a friend. Maybe it's a text sent at the right time. Maybe it's just the beauty of nature and a blue sky and a couple of fruit trees. Whatever it is, know that you're not abandoned, you're not alone, you're not broken. You are victorious already in the battles that you fight. And if you can simply lift your head just a bit to see and to know and to touch the goodness of that, then the one who made you will respond with 1,000 graces. Not only do I declare this, but I know it. It's been given to me. It's been given to so many of you that I know on this thread. And that the peace of the world that we think it's disturbed all the time is actually the its very baseline, its very substance, its very world. And so my friends, I hope you will find a bit of peace in it for you, that it in all of your efforting and all of your work will overcome the battles that are actually already won. All right, friends, that's my my hope for you. Karen, thank you, Miss Maine. Yeah, I know, it is a beautiful place. Pam, good morning to you. I'm glad you're here. Jamie, hi, glad you made it in. All right, friends, we are worshiping at 9 o'clock on Sunday at 282 Rock Street. It will be glorious. We are baptizing a baby. We're having we are talking about the Good Samaritan, which is always a fun story to kick around. And we are lifting praise and love and grace to the one who made us. All right, I hope you know peace this day. I hope the peace that surpasses all understanding finds you wherever you are, and that you are filled with it. And that to know, not just suspect, not just occasion, but to know that goodness and grace and peace and mercy are already yours. All right, friends, peace and grace. We'll pick it up next week with another 11:11.